10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Manchester United will reach the promised land once again. Whoopsie daisy. I shouldn't have gone full screen with that at the start. How are we doing, everyone? Get that sweet Friday feeling. The weekend is nearly here. Although technically the weekend is here because Friday is the new Saturday, right? Isn't it? That's what I think anyway. And there's no Manchester United to ruin your weekend. How about that? It's probably the biggest present that Manchester United has given us in a long, long time. How are you all doing? I've got a smile on my face. Why not? It's sunny outside. It feels like spring is here. United need a bit of a spring clean. We all know that. We're here to talk this morning about Erik Ten Hag again. My favourite baldy Dutchie. You're definitely going to be getting plenty of Ten Hag propaganda here on United People's TV, and you know that very well. We're going to be speaking about Ten Hag. We're going to be speaking about Cristiano Ronaldo. So much conversation around Ronaldo and whether or not he's going to be staying at Manchester United next year, because he's going to have to hear the Europa League thing. We all know that, unless a sort of a miracle happens now and Arsenal's arse falls out and somehow we get into the top four. I don't think that's going to happen. But we need to speak about Ten Hag. We need to speak about Ronaldo. We're going to be speaking about, what else have I got on the cards today? There is so much to talk about. We're going to be speaking about the Glazers in quite a bit of detail. I'm going to be speaking about Gary Neville. Going to be speaking about Paul Pogba. Going to be speaking about Marcus Rashford. And it's the weekend and it's Friday. So we're going to get the interactive map up. So you let me know where you're watching from this morning. Craig, you don't think we need a spring clean? We need one of those sweet deep cleans. We're probably right there. Good morning to you, Kenny. Good luck, Adiwale, Joseph, Ed Smith. Good morning to you from New South Wales in Australia. Malcolm, good morning to you, my friend. Paula, Sashi, good morning to you. Good evening, actually, all the way out in Japan. Ian, there's loads of you this morning. What are the members we got here? Takeoff. We've got Calvin, JJ, Anuj. Good morning to all of you. How are you doing? As I said, I can't ruin your weekend. Take that as some sort of positive right now. And I've got a smile on my face when I say that, but I think that's a bit of the damning reality of watching Manchester United at the moment. You can go from the unadulterated highs of a Ronaldo hat-trick against Spurs at Old Trafford, his first hat-trick back at the club since returning, and then you can go to that game there against Atletico Madrid and just going back down to the pits. Look, Josh, you this word spin, I keep seeing it, and I know where it's come from. It's come from Goldbridge, and it's mad. It's mad the amount of people that will just jump on anything now like rabid dogs and just spin. That's I understand that is the case sometimes, but you can't just blindly shout that at everything. The idea of spin is you take something out of context and you spin it into what you want it to be. So any piece of news can't technically be spin. It blows my mind. As I said, I'm a nationally trained and accredited journalist. I've been there. I've done my law. I've done my media law. I've done my shorthand. If anybody's ever done shorthand, it is the most pointless pressure I've ever had in my entire life. You've got to write, was it like 140 words a minute at 95% accuracy? And I failed the first time. My hand seized up when I was doing the exam. So I literally at 8 a.m. had to do like 2 double shots of vodka to calm my nerves. And it worked. Big up the alcohol in that sense. I wouldn't ever recommend really having a vodka at 8 o'clock in the morning, though. That's not what I'm coming here recommending. But, I know what I'm talking about, okay? So you can't just label things as spin, spin, spin because it suits the narrative that you want it to. Clubs leak out information at certain times, of course, to suit their own agenda. But journalists do their work as well. You can't simply just say that every journalist is spinning something because it says something that you don't agree with. Therefore, it must be spin. No, that's not the way the world works, people. I hate to be the person that comes to you telling you this morning, but that's the truth. Dr. Tomoy, Doctor, I would not recommend alcohol in the morning, but for that exam, it worked. Okay, it worked. That's all I'll say. But let's talk about Erik Ten Hag. Okay, let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. I did a video yesterday. I'm not surprised it didn't do very well. Not many of you watched it. Not many of you commented on it. Not many of you engaged with it. And I think it's because because on here on United People's TV, we've got a pretty, in my opinion, a very level-headed community. I call myself one of the moderates. one of the moderate fans. I'm not somebody who's gonna sort of jump on a player too early. I'm not going to jump on a story too early and get like really encapsulated by it. I try and sit back a little bit, kind of let it develop as it, and then once I can see it developing from multiple angles, that's when I'll probably start to get excited. Now, that's not really the case with Ten Hag. I don't think at the moment, but with Tuchel, everybody was sitting there going, he's not going to leave Chelsea. So why are we even having a conversation about him? That honestly, that's kind of how I felt. But because of the stories that were coming out from The Athletic, from The Telegraph, from everybody, I was like, well, I can't not have a conversation about it. So we talked about it yesterday, and I made my opinion clear. Tuchel's an incredible manager. And I don't think he's going anywhere away from Chelsea. They're going to get new owners in. The new owners will come in with a new promise, and they will not want to let he's basically the jewel of their crown at the moment, is Tuchel. Without Tuchel, everything could fall apart there at Chelsea. So I don't personally think that Tuchel's leaving. So our conversation goes back to what we were speaking about previously, right? We were speaking about the two candidates that were on our list. That was Pochettino and that was Ten Hag. Now, whether you prefer Poch or Ten Hag, I keep saying this, right? It's down to a matter of opinion. I don't think either of them have got a CV which makes either Poch or Ten Hag that much better than the other. It's just whether you feel Ten Hag is more suited to what United need going forward, or whether you think that Poch is more suited to what United need going forward. Mick Rogers, you're asking in the comments, how did Maguire get a spot in the England squad? I will speak about that in a bit, my friend. Don't worry about that. But let's go down here and let's speak about the news about Ronaldo. This is coming from AS, which is a newspaper out in Spain. Is it the most reliable source in the world? Absolutely not. This is not golden. This is not perfect. But it leads to a conversation which we are going to have this morning. It says Cristiano Ronaldo has decided to fulfill his remaining year of his contract at Manchester United. He is confident that United will make the right choice for the next manager. Now, you let me know in the comments right now. You just type the name in, Ten Hag or Poch. Type yours in now. I'll try and gauge what the community is saying at the moment. You all know where I am sitting, but it's something that I've said before. I never really too often hear on United People's TV. I would say I've kind of changed my tone a little bit over the last few months or so, maybe 2-3 months. I've started to do more like opinion videos, some opinion videos, certainly on Harry Maguire. I think that's the best example of it. And it seems to resonate. I've always tried to stay back a little bit, not force my opinion through videos, present both sides of the argument like a journalist would, and let you make your own mind up. And I do that in the majority of the videos that I do. Some videos I don't. But let me know what you think in the comments with Ten Hag or Poch. And I can go down here and I can absolutely say that Dan the man is drunk at 9:40 in the morning. He needs to stop drinking, Dan. Stop drinking. But going down here, the overwhelming majority of you, right, are saying Ten Hag. I'm talking like a 90-10 split. A 90-10 split. I'll let it start to change after the Fred video. Yeah, it probably was that Fred video. I don't know why I've always tried to keep my opinion out, which is kind of weird, really, considering what we've built here. It's kind of built on my opinion. So it's a little bit strange for me to try and keep my opinion out of it. But yeah, I try not to be too aggressive with my opinion. But I suppose it's what people like to see on YouTube. So I've done it more often recently, and people have responded. Certainly with Harry Maguire, I felt very, very strongly about Harry Maguire and the whole situation there. But looking down in the comments here, it's like 90-10 for Ten Hag. And I tell you what, if we look at the report, the latest, this is coming from yesterday from the Manchester Evening News. Now, I touched on this in the Tuchel video that I did yesterday, and this is coming out from Manchester Evening News. And they're saying here that Ten Hag is Manchester United's preferred option to become their next manager. As it stands, Ten Hag is the prime choice to take over in the summer. Now, we all know that there are a few other names on that list, as far as we know. We're talking about, I keep seeing that the idea of a short list. A short list is exactly that, a short list. That doesn't mean that we've got 5 names on it. 5 names is not a short list. Having Enrique, Tuchel, Poch, Ten Hag, Lopetegui, that's 5 names. That's not a short list. It's absolutely not a shortlist. The shortlist is one or two names. The shortlist is Ten Hag or Poch, and that should be Manchester United's shortlist. Look, we've had these. We had the conversation yesterday about Tuchel. The fact that so little of you watched it is an indicator to me that you sort of agree with me. That you kind of feel it's a bit of a mute conversation. It's kind of a bit pointless, right? To talk about Tuchel as Manchester United manager because he's probably not going to be leaving Chelsea. So why would Manchester United waste their time there? I'm going to go down here. Look, with Anthony's right there. We need a Manchester balled off. We can just bowl Ten Hag and Poch down and see who knocks down more skittles. Hey, look, it'll be great to have a balled off. I want to have a balled off. I've been waiting for a balled off. It's a weird word, balled off. Weird phrase, balled off. But it's true. I'll tell you what, maybe we'll see this next season. Woohoo! Look at that. I've been waiting. I've been waiting to pull that bad boy out. Menosis, you're saying why Tuchel? It really is a waste of time. Hey, look, this is when it comes to the Tuchel conversation, I couldn't ignore the Tuchel conversation. So we had that conversation yesterday. I won't be having it again unless something dramatically develops in the whole Tuchel situation. I don't personally think it will. Okay. But look at that. Do you think we'll be seeing that next season? What's your gut telling you? Type yes or no in the comments. Do you think we'll be seeing that? Ten Hag and Ronaldo celebrating, obviously not in a Juventus shirt, but that was from the game where Ajax played Juve, I believe, in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. This is what Ten Hag said before that game. He said, I think it's nice if Ronaldo plays. We want to play against the best possible opponent. That's a challenge, and we like to face challenges. It's fantastic if you can compete against a player like Ronaldo. Now, let me go down here and see the comments. Whether or not you got the confidence that we'll see that next season. Let's go down here. Camilla, you're saying yes. Lee, you're saying yes. And so, Sam, times end, you're not feeling as chipper, and neither is Flames. But the majority of you, I dream, but I don't think it will happen. Don't know why I'm singing. Don't know why I'm singing at all. Paula, you hope so? I think we all hope so, right? I think Ronaldo will stay next year. We'll have a separate conversation about that. Maybe I'll do a video about that before we play Leicester in 16 days' time. I don't know. I'll tell you who did have a good game in that quarterfinal. Donny van der Beek. Hey, Donny van der Beek's still alive. Or you're not here in the comments. No way you are. You're busy working. Unbelievable. Or is Donny's biggest fan here on United People's TV. And Donny van der Beek, if Ten Hag comes in, you're looking at a player there that's going to be like a brand new signing. I know the cliche exists, but with Donny, it really will feel like a brand new signing. Kenny, you're probably not wrong here. You're saying you're singing because we don't have a match this weekend. United can't ruin my weekend. And I tell you what, in England, it's looking like spring outside. It may only be like 13, 14 degrees, but it's sunny. It's looking sunny outside. Chris, you're saying Donny will be back and looking better. Hey, look, I'm excited about it. If Ten Hag comes in, Donny's going nowhere. Of course he's going nowhere. And the fact that Paul Pogba is leaving, and I've said this all along, I've maintained this from the very beginning, that the Donny van der Beek situation at Manchester United had a lot of parallels with Shinji Kagawa. I said that Kagawa was brought in by Fergie to replace Rooney. And then what happened? Fergie retired. He didn't expect to, but he did. And then Rooney stayed. And then Kagawa didn't have his way through into the first team. And Kagawa left. And it was a talent lost. I think the same thing happened with Donny van der Beek and Paul Pogba. I think Manchester United brought Donny van der Beek to the club to replace Paul Pogba. Then the coronavirus happened. Boom. He couldn't go anywhere else. Nowhere could afford him. And therefore, Donny van der Beek and his route into the first team, he didn't have that route. And it's unfortunate for him, but that's just the reality of what happened, right? And I think that after that, Donny had no choice really but to leave Manchester United on loan. Good idea on loan so we can keep him in and around the club. Bring Erik Ten Hag in, though. Woohoo! We won't just see Erik Ten Hag doing that with Ronaldo next season. We will see him high-fiving Donny van der Beek after he scored the winner at Anfield. Yes, please. Absolutely, yes, please. Andy, good morning to you this morning. What are you doing here late? How dare you be late? There's a comment that caught my eye there. Oh, Stacey, it's beautiful and sunny in Chelmsford. My friends just moved to Chelmsford. Nice part of town. But look, if we were to take a very, very basic look at what we could say Manchester United could line up here under Erik Ten Hag. Erik Ten Hag has got a sort of like a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3 system. So 4-2-3-1. Sometimes that player can drop a little bit deeper, so it merges into more of a 4-3-3. And if I'm looking at who this player was in that Ajax team under Erik, it was Van der Beek. That was the position that Van der Beek loved to occupy under Erik Ten Hag, right? That position there. That was the position where he would be able to sort of run to the edge of the box and become a supporting striker, but then also drop deeper and go into a midfield three. Ronaldo, looking at what he's doing this season, Ronaldo, that's where Haller's playing. Sebastian Haller's really operating more as a proper target man, back to goal, bringing it down, bringing in Anthony on the right-hand side there, or bringing in Tadic from the left-hand side, who are operating properly as wingers, not inside forwards. There's a lot. It's a good point there. Let me just remove that name from down there. Nobody saw that happen. But yeah, John, you sitting there agreeing with me on the Van der Beek situation. I'm excited for it, man. I'm really excited for him to sort of basically start his Manchester United career. And I personally think that even if it's Poch that comes in, I think Donny can still start his Manchester United career. I was going to speak about it later on, but I suppose the conversation leads into it, right? We're here talking about Donny and his progress through. And we see this, the latest from the Telegraph on Paul Pogba. This is from Mike McGrath, a very well-respected journalist. Maybe this is just spin. Or maybe it's just news. Paul Pogba will let his Manchester United contract expire before deciding his next club. It's effectively that. There's no need for me to go down and read the article for you because it's exactly what it says there. And it's exactly what we've always known and exactly what we've always felt. For a long time, it's felt like Paul Pogba wasn't going to sign a Manchester United contract. I mean, this has been an ongoing situation now for verging on, 2 seasons? Roughly about 2 seasons. And there was maybe a slight hope from some, like from some Pogba supporters and fans. It was like, maybe Pogba will still sign that contract. Maybe he will still stay at Manchester United. Now, I always felt that was unlikely. And it really is a case that Pogba's going to leave. But as I said, I'm not too upset about that. Not because of Ronaldo, because of this guy. I think, and I look, there's no way that Donny van der Beek is an adequate full replacement for Paul Pogba. In my opinion, Pogba is a bit of an irreplaceable player in terms of his physicality, in terms of his quality, in terms of on paper, there isn't a like-for-like replacement for Paul Pogba. But when it comes to Pogba as a player for Manchester United, divides opinions so much. Really, really does. I think people are probably hypercritical of Paul Pogba because of the ceiling that they know he had. But Donny van der Beek, a fit and firing Donny van der Beek is somebody who it excites me as a footballer. He's somebody who I'd love to see what he could do if he played week in, week out for Manchester United. And I think if we're looking at progression inside this squad for Manchester United to shift Paul Pogba on, for that sort of chapter to be closed, and for the Donny van der Beek chapter to start, and for Manchester United to then gain roughly like £300,000-400,000 a week on the wages bill and invest that into a different type of midfielder, it makes perfect sense for United. That's when United's squad and midfield will be better. Man United's midfield squad will be better if Pogba leaves, Van der Beek steps into that role, fills about 40-50% of it. Then we got Hannibal coming through. Maybe James Garner can get an opportunity. And then we spend Pogba's wages on the big hole inside that midfield. The big hole. Because realistically, from an attacking midfield perspective, you've got more than enough there with Bruno Fernandes. And you've got more than enough there with Donny van der Beek. But you don't have enough in central midfield. Absolutely not. That's my opinion on the Donny van der Beek situation. I suppose you kind of got a little bit distracted there. Or I can see you down there in the comments. And look, he's not really got his Manchester United career started yet. But if we're going to see this next season, and we're going to see Erik Ten Hag and Ronaldo becoming best buddies, then we're definitely going to see a brand new and rejuvenated Donny van der Beek at Manchester United. What do you think about that in the comments? Let me head down to the comments here and let's speak about it. Declan, Zakaria, eh? Geez, I mentioned Zakaria quite a lot, didn't I? During the January transfer window. I was pretty angry that Manchester United didn't use that as an opportunity to get quite a cheap player who could improve our squad options. But, we decided against it. And he's gone on to, have a decent enough start at Juventus. Jonathan, as always, good to see you here this morning. What are you saying this morning, my friend? I seem to always read your massive comments out. Some reports that Ralph could get dismissed. If this happens, it confirms my worst fears. I said at the beginning, he wouldn't see his 2-year consultancy out. If this happens, then it highlights even more shambles that the club is. They are admitting it's a mistake now. Nothing will change under these owners. I've not seen those reports coming from... Oh, my bad. I've not seen those reports coming from anywhere too credible at this particular moment in time, Jonathan. So I'll probably take them with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But I hope that Rangnick doesn't leave. If he leaves, it forces us back into square one position. It really forces us backwards. It's probably the worst comment I've ever read in my entire life. Sam, you are talking like a Glazer. I would love to know how you think I'm talking like a Glazer when I'm talking just logical sense. When I'm talking about the fact that Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United. I'm not saying that Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United is a great thing. All right? I would love nothing more than for Paul Pogba to stay and for him to shine and for it to work. But there's now too much history there. There's too much frustration, in my opinion. Otherwise, he would have signed the contract by now. Done deal. I've got no doubt that whoever Paul Pogba joins, he'll be a great player at. I just question whether that's ever going to truly happen properly at Manchester United across the course of a couple of years. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Ah, look, I'm going for the robot again. What is it with this goddamn computer? I need to clean this computer up, baby. I'm doing the Peter Crouch. Do the Peter Crouch. I do the Peter Crouch. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully it stops at some point soon. I've got no idea why it's doing that. Why am I singing and dancing? Seriously. Maybe that's why my computer's having a go at me. It goes, can you stop singing? And can you stop dancing, please? Seriously. But no, we are definitely going to be speaking about the Glazers in a minute, by the way. I'm just waiting for this to calm down. There we go. It's calmed down. What is wrong with you? What is it? What is my computer trying to do to me in the last couple of days? But look, I'm going to be speaking about the Glazers next because there's a couple of things that I definitely want to point out. There's things that have happened in the last couple of days. But look, before I... Matt, you're right there. No one talk about the lag, guys. No one talk about it. No, look, but now that I've gone down and I've set it to subscribers only, the conversation's much, much better. I should have done this earlier. It's much better, all right? So that's my own fault for not doing that. Edward, you're saying, Sam, you're talking shit. Donny's not proved himself as a player. He may be good, but his style does not fit ours. His style will fit Erik Ten Hag's, all right? That's my point I'm saying here. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying if Erik Ten Hag comes in, then we should probably get excited about Donny van der Beek. Jonathan, I don't think the Russians care about me. They're too busy doing an illegal war right now. Jack, you're saying Rangnick is not progressing with players in the team now. We need to get rid of Pogba, Matic, Cavani, Jones, and Mata. Hey, there really is a long list. A long list of players that we need to get rid of. A long list. I've said that before, and I don't know how long that list is, if I'm being completely honest. I think I might have missed a super chat earlier. I want to go up and see if I did. It really happened a long time ago. There you go. I thought I did. Sorry, J-Back. I thought I saw this, but I didn't read it out. You're saying I would take Erik Ten Hag over Poch. There's just this worry about him being thrown in at the deep end at Manchester United. Tuchel, I'll watch the video, offers more assurance. Of course, Tuchel would offer the assurance. You know, he's had the Premier League experience. He's got the Champions League under his belt. It's like I said in my video yesterday, for those of you who did watch it. Tuchel's CV, by comparison of Poch's and Ten Hag's, it's not in the same sphere. He's got the experience at Dortmund, at PSG, and at Chelsea. He's won the Champions League. He's worked with big name players. He's managed those personalities, and he's done it well. 2 league titles in France. Obviously, with Chelsea, he's won the Champions League. But by comparison, the CVs don't compare. But Tuchel, in my opinion, is what I said in the video. It's a mute conversation. There's not much point in talking about it, is there? Mr. Impact Craig saying Glazers more interested in cricket than fixing United. I'm going to be speaking about the Glazers next, but I do want to say here that I want to be speaking about something else first. I want to be speaking, starting to do a partnership at the moment with Bet Victor. So this is a little snippet of a video from Adam McCullough from their latest Last Man Standing video that they've published this week. And it raises a really important point, I think, that's very important after that Atletico Madrid game that we need to talk about.
Right, I've got a minute to talk about one subject, and my subject this week is why referees are the problem and not VAR. Now, I'm not going to lie, at the start, I never wanted VAR. I wanted football to be same at every single level. But I'm sick and tired of seeing the same people that cried for VAR to be introduced now moaning that VAR is the problem, when it's clear it's the referees that are looking at the screen, making these decisions, making poor decisions in real time, making poor decisions after multiple replays. How can you blame the technology when it's the guys that are clearly using it? Because we're all sat.
I think McCullough's spot on here, and that's why I wanted to speak about it. Look, McCullough, I've got no qualms with McCullough. Nice guy. I met him. I can't remember whether I've met him or not. Decent guy. Decent opinions on United. And after that Atletico Madrid game, there has to be more of a focus, really, on the referees, man. And it's not just VAR. And we've seen some horrendous decisions at Manchester United this season when it comes to VAR and handballs that are given and not given. And look at the Everton and City game when that handball wasn't given. It's ridiculous. So look, what I want to do is let me post a link to the video in the description here. I'll leave it as a comment. It's also in the description of the video on YouTube and Facebook. Head over there and just leave a comment that you came from United People's TV. It will help me. It will help the channel. It will help us grow. And it'll also show that you're engaging with the content. And I think it really is a fair point that McCullough raises, because the standard of the referee, look, for Manchester United to be in the Champions League round of 16 and for the conversation to be largely about the referee after, it's just not right. It should always be about the football, not the man in the middle who's holding the whistle. Now, obviously, that wasn't the main talking point, but it's a talking point that we have to have. So I think McCullough's right to raise that. So if you would, head over there. There's a comment down there. And as Rebecca says here, referees have always been a problem when VAR was introduced. They've been a problem for a long, long time, haven't they? They really have. Jack, you're saying video on players that we need to axe will be great, Sam. Trust me, Jack, that's definitely coming. And it's probably going to be a very, very long video, isn't it? Because there's a lot of these players that need to get axed. So yeah, if you would, please head over there. Use that link in the description or the link I just posted in the comments. Say you came from United People's TV. It'll be good. You'll help United. You help the channel. But let's move on and talk about our favourite. No, they're not our favourite. We're talking about the Glazers. We're talking about the fact that the Glazers told Manchester United fans after the collapse of the European... It's almost like I'm going to be doing a video on this later on today. And you are damn right I'm doing a video exposing more lies from the Glazers, because I will continue to do videos titled Exposing the Glazers and exposing the lies that they are doing and they are saying to Manchester United fans until they are not owners of our club. So whoever came in the comments earlier and said, Sam, you sound like a Glazer, well, you might be doing a little bit of a, like, data, a little bit of reversing, because I am not a Glazers fan. I've never been a Glazers fan. They are horrendous owners of Manchester United. The fact that they were ever allowed to take over our club was verging on illegal, and now it is illegal, if I'm correct, to have a leveraged buyout of a football club. If you want to buy a club now, you have to have the cash. Manchester United, I believe, were the last leveraged buyout of a football team in England. Brilliant news. But yeah, we were told by the Glazers after the collapse of the European Super League that, don't worry, our communication is going to improve now. Tom Brady has been to Old Trafford more than the Glazers this year, the entire family, right? And then we see stuff like this on Twitter yesterday from Mansour bin Mohammed, who I believe works with the Dubai sport culture department, whatever you want to call it. I met with Abraham Glazer, co-chairman of Manchester United, today, and discussed ways to work together to further raise Dubai's profile as a global sporting hub. We also discussed the UAE T20 Cricket League's launch in January 23, featuring a Manchester United cricket team, among other teams. Fuck off. I hate the Glazers so much. I absolutely hate the Glazers so much. And it's not when it comes to the Glazers, the thing that, oh my God, this argument, I'm sure you've had it as well before with your mates. How can you moan about the Glazers? They spent like 1.4 billion on new signings. The Glazers aren't the problem. I'm like, what's the point in having this argument? What's the point in having this argument? Seriously. The Glazers are the root of all evil at Manchester United. They are the root of all problems, and their overspending now is a direct consequence of their underspending previously. In the same way that we can have this conversation here about Old Trafford, the mere fact, right? The mere fact that knock down Old Trafford and build a new stadium in its place is A, an option on this list, and B, I genuinely mean this, it's not an option that we can rule out. That's how bad the state of Old Trafford has got now. Okay? If over the last, from 2005 to 2021, if Manchester United had been incrementally, if the Glazers had been incrementally investing in Old Trafford, 5 million here, 5 million there, 10 million here, 10 million there, slowly but surely over those 16 years, improving Old Trafford, then it wouldn't be at this point now where Manchester United fans can go, like, we're almost ashamed of Old Trafford. I am. If you've ever been to Old Trafford, I'm sure tons of you have in the comments. If you haven't, you walk up inside those concourses, those concrete, narrow concourses, those steep, narrow concrete stairs in the stadium. Look at the roof, look at the facilities, look at everything. No Wi-Fi. I know no Wi-Fi is not an issue at a football game. You should be sitting there watching the game, but it's just that the way that modern football has moved on, the communications, the facilities, the seats, the roof, the stadium, the entrance, everything is old and dusty and not fit for purpose, not in the modern game, not compared to what Spurs built, not compared to what Arsenal have, not compared to what City have got. And look, they could have built an entire stadium. Instead, we've paid that back on interest repayments. On repaying the Glazers' debt that they bought our club with, we could have right now a state-of-the-art stadium for the exact same price. And you wonder why Manchester United fans hate the Glazers. I don't know why anybody really has that conversation. I really genuinely don't. We go over here to see what Gary Neville said. He's been speaking out in... I found this a little bit strange. It was an interview he did with TV2 out in Norway. Now, I might make this the basis of my video later. I need to look at the copyright issues behind it. But Gary Neville said this about the Glazers. He said there are big problems in this club. The owners, to be honest with you, are not good enough. The owners need to sell the club. I've said that all season. They've let the ground disintegrate. They've let the training ground disintegrate. Absolutely. I mean, he's not wrong there at all. I know there's a lot of frustration that revolves around Gary Neville and the fact that it's all good and well hearing what you're saying now, Gary, but where were you last year? Where were you 3 years ago? Where were you 5 years ago? Why are we waiting until now to hear you speak like this about the Glazers? And I would say two things about that. I would say, one, you're all absolutely correct. I wish that we had Gary Neville speaking earlier and more powerfully. Maybe it would have made a difference earlier and there would be more power behind that movement. But on the other hand, Gary Neville is now speaking. So as much as I want to be frustrated and angry like that, I would point my anger more towards people who still remain silent rather than picking holes in what Gary Neville said because he didn't say it earlier. Jonathan, he said all that before. He has said all that before. But it's the continued push that we all need to do to bring that back to the surface, to make sure that never gets forgotten about, no matter what happens at Manchester United. And I tell you what, what was it? Maybe the 20th minute, I think it was against Spurs or Atletico. I'm not sure what game it was. I heard the Red Army TRA section firmly shouting and singing, "We want Glazers out." So I appreciate the fact that that conversation will never go quiet among the hardcore United supporters. And I feel like I've got a responsibility here with United People's TV to make sure that conversation never gets muted either. I'm going to go down to the comment here. I'm going to read a few of your comments out there. Let's see what we're going on. Yeah, look, Jerry, look, you laugh about it. This is root. It's not the root of all evil. It's the root of all the evil at Manchester United, though. Absolutely true. I stand behind that statement. He went on an owner rant when the Super League was mentioned too. I'll have a look at that, my friend. D-Week, you're saying, Sam, what do you think on the Haaland to City news that has started to come out? I think it is going to happen. We're not going to get Erling Haaland, okay? I've done a video speaking about Haaland and that situation. I said that in that video, if I remember correctly, I said that we can't not go after a player simply because Raiola's their agent. Gravenberch is another one, for example. 19-year-old being brought through, fantastic central midfielder for Ajax this season under Erik Ten Hag. Would I rule him out of moving to Manchester United simply because Raiola's his agent? No, I would not. But you always have to be a little bit skeptical of anybody who's represented by Raiola because of, you know, the circus that comes around it. I know that. Paulie, you're saying that chant was in the Atletico match. I heard it loud and proud, though. It was very, very good. Check out the Optus Stadium in Perth, Western Australia. Voted one of the best in the world. No, I'd rather somebody just did something good with Old Trafford. I don't know what that's going to be. I've spoken to... I haven't spoken to... I tried to speak to Ollie Winton, who's the political correspondent, I believe, the fan representative between Manchester United and the fans. I asked him to come on and speak about it, but he couldn't speak about it on camera. So I'm trying to find somebody good to speak about on this topic when it comes to Old Trafford and the redevelopment of it, because I think we need to start understanding the facts behind it. It's all good and well hearing that Old Trafford could be knocked down and a new stadium could go in its place, or a South Stand expansion, or just an internal improvement everywhere without an expansion. But what's the legal implications? What's the blockers of all of that? We know that the railway has always been a big blocker to the South Stand expansion because we don't own that part of the land, X, Y, Z, and houses are there too. But I'm going to be speaking about that, hopefully, with somebody who really has a bit of knowledge. So if anybody's got any suggestions, my DMs are always open. I love doing interviews here on United People's TV. Interviews are probably my favorite type of content to do. I think they're very informative. And when you get the right person who's very knowledgeable on a subject, then you gain some insight into it as well. And I love informative and insightful content. I think they're two things that there aren't enough of on YouTube. There's enough opinion, there's enough shouting, there's enough ranting. I don't think there's enough accurate information or insight. And that's why I always do like to bring here to United People's TV. You're all there having a big old conversations about stadiums in the comments. I'm dead jealous of everyone's stadium. Spurs' stadium, like, I know that it cost them $1 billion. I know that they lost White Hart Lane, but that is a beautiful stadium. I think it's one of the better looking modern stadiums. I like the flow of the stadium. There's no big beams coming down. I like the bowl. So I like the big stand behind one of the goals. It's nice. It's nice. Let's see what else is saying down here. This made me laugh, by the way. I say laugh this morning. It's made me angry this morning to the point where I actually replied to Simon Stone. Been told Man United won't be setting up a cricket team, and discussions were around the idea that proposed that Everton Glazer and any acquisition of cricket franchise will be unrelated to the club. The fact that he's calling him Avi Glazer, and I think all he's doing there is probably trying to save like 5 characters on Twitter. But Avi Glazer is not your best bud, mate. You're not down the bowling alley sharing some fries. Don't call him Avi Glazer. No one ever called him Avi Glazer. Oh, made me angry. Now, a lot of you have been asking for my opinion on this, so let's talk about it quickly. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has been left out of the England squad. So has Jadon Sancho, which makes no sense. We'll speak about that after. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw both kept their places inside that squad. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Anna, you're saying, Sam, we need another interview with Fabrizio Romano. I'll get Fabrizio back on this channel when transfers are the most prevalent talking point at this club. I'm not going to get Fabrizio on until we've got a manager in. Once we've got a manager in, we can then start focusing on transfers and new signings and what could happen going forward. Up until that point, a conversation with Fabrizio would be a little bit muted, Anuj. That's what I think anyway. But look, this is what Southgate said about Rashford. He said, in the last 8 squads, he's ended up pulling out of 5, while Maguire has been in the team and a key part of the team for massive matches over a long period of time. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are looking at this squad going, Maguire? How is Maguire getting in this England squad? My immediate reaction to that is Harry Maguire for England is a very different player to Harry Maguire for Manchester United. Harry Maguire, when you watch him playing for England, he's more than a decent player. He's a very good player. I would argue that we still like world-class aspects to his game during Euro 2020 when he came back from injury after missing, the first 1 or 2 games. But Southgate's lost his marbles by not putting Jadon Sancho in that squad and putting Jack Grealish in. Jadon Sancho, since the start of February, 3 goals, 2 assists, man of the match, not man of the match, player of the month in February. Since the start of February, his form has been supreme, absolutely supreme. And I think it's very unfair that he's missed out in the squad. Luke Shaw, he's in there on last season's form. I don't know why Luke Shaw's in that squad. Absolutely not. And as I said, as much as we can disagree about the qualities of Harry Maguire, nobody can really disagree that for England, he is a very different player. There's a comment down there that caught my eye. Where was it? Somebody was saying that Maguire without the armband, that's where the pressure, and Maguire actually turns up for England. He doesn't. Maybe it is the armband. Maybe it's the fact that he doesn't have the pressure of being captain at England, and that's why he's so good. I think that John Stones is a good complement and partner for him. But, he's definitely better for England. No one can argue with that. And who cares? We all know that Southgate is a dick that hates United. Always has. Personally, I think international football is complete garbage. I'm not going to lie. I got absolutely swept up in that Euro 2020. I was in London for the final and we lost. But I definitely got swept up in it. I love international football. I think international football, club football first. We all know that, right? That's a given. But international football gives me the opportunity to really celebrate football with some of my closest mates and all support the same team. And that's the only time I can do it. And it's brilliant. And I love the atmospheres of it. I'll always enjoy tournament football with England. We'll never win anything, but I'll always enjoy it. And I'll always have hope going into it. And I'll ultimately be let down. It's a bit like watching Manchester United. Hey, look, last few minutes here. I want to answer your questions. Fire in any questions that I haven't answered. Ask me anything. Last 5 minutes. Let's do something random and different. It's Friday. And also, we'll get the interactive map up here. So you let me know where you're watching from, and I'll get a few of you added onto the map. I'm going to start doing the probably weekly Ask Me Anythings for members only. It's something I've said that I'm going to be doing for a long, long time. I haven't quite figured out the format of how to do it. I think I might send out an Instagram story that you can reply to and send your questions in, and then I'll probably answer off the back of that. But I'm still not sure of it. But I will start doing proper Ask Me Anythings. But yeah, the main stories of today, to do a quick recap whilst you send your questions in. The main story today is all around Cristiano Ronaldo and the fact that stories from Spain are saying that he wants to stay at Manchester United next season. So then we had a nice conversation about, let me get it up here, Erik Ten Hag. We spoke about the fact that right now he is the top choice for Manchester United. We spoke about Ronaldo. We spoke about how he could play under him. We spoke about Ten Hag's comments on Ronaldo. And we had a little conversation there about Donny van der Beek, right? We spoke about Paul Pogba leaving. We took a look at how could this team line up under Ten Hag. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that. Don't you worry about that. We spoke about the Glazers, the scumbags that they are. And then we came here, and now we're speaking about Rashford. How about that? Now, let me go down there and read a few of your comments out. There's someone that caught my eye there. This is definitely going on there. Claire, Isle of Arran. I've definitely not got anybody on here from the Isle of Arran. So, Claire, welcome aboard. Thank you for watching. Let's get you on the map. Isle of Arran. I think they make really nice gin in the Isle of Arran, if I remember correctly, because I'm pretty sure I've had one from there before, and it's damn good. I like a gin. Not at 9 o'clock in the morning, though. Not unless I'm doing an exam. What else we got down here? Let's get one more. There you go. Got Roy Keane's Violent Ballet. That is the most incredible username I've ever seen in my entire life. But ton of more. On you go. And we'll get one more on here. Let's see who we got. Who have we got watching? Durban. Rochelle's watching from Durban. Durban's already on the map, Rochelle, but thank you very much for watching the whole way from South Africa. Who else have we got? Ooh, Geraldo, you caught my eye. You caught my eye all the way from South Carolina, baby. I don't know how good that accent was, but it was American. South Carolina, on you go. Welcome aboard to the map. Now, let's answer a few of your questions, eh? It is interactive here. You know it's interactive. Apparently the best black pudding ever from Isle of Arran. Unpopular opinion here. I don't particularly like black pudding. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the messenger. Yas, you're saying, really enjoy your live stream, mate. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Anybody who's joined in, you know I appreciate all of you joining in. Please consider dropping a like on the video. It does help the channel. Just help the channel however you can. If you want to drop a like on it, if you want to subscribe, if you want to send in a super chat, anything that comes into the channel, I always reiterate this. It goes back into the channel. We've got a new camera coming today. So hopefully the quality is going to go up a little bit in the next few days. Fingers crossed. I've got to work on that. But let me see down here. Hamburg. Hamburg's on the map already, my friend, for sure. Cal, you're saying, how reliable is the source to Ronaldo staying? At this moment in time, it's not gospel, okay? It's coming out from Spain at this moment in time. But I don't know. I think my gut tells me that we will see him next year. My gut tells me we will. And what are you saying? What are the chances of Ten Hag bringing some of his backroom team with him? I would be extremely surprised. In fact, gobsmacked. If Ten Hag came to Manchester United and didn't bring some of his staff with him. 9 out of 10 appointments, managerial appointments, they will bring staff with them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was different, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was very different. He didn't have any backroom staff to bring with him. David Moyes brought everyone in with him. Louis van Gaal, he brought people with him. Jose Mourinho, he brought Rui Faria, and he brought his with him. Ralph Rangnick, he brought some in. He didn't bring people with him, but he brought people in. I'll be extremely surprised if Erik Ten Hag didn't bring anybody with him. Claire, what are you saying? What's your thoughts on getting Tuchel and bringing some of Chelsea's team with him? I think it's a bit of a mute argument. I don't think we'll be getting Tuchel, and I don't think Chelsea will be letting any Premier League rivals come and just do like a bargain buy, trying to swipe their assets away from them at cut prices because of what's going on. I don't think that's going to happen. Sonia saying, you're a top bloke. Really enjoy your videos. Thank you very much, Sonia. Big up to you. Let's read a few more of your questions out. 600 watching, only 150 likes. 450 of you need to get that sweet Friday feeling. Drop a like on the video. Come on, man. It's free. It helps the channel as well. It really does. It shows YouTube that some of you actually like the videos. And some people actually genuinely do. Blow my mind. You're saying down here, who do you think we can replace Pogba with? I've spoken about it there in the video in a little bit of depth, but I don't think Donny van der Beek is a like-for-like replacement for Paul Pogba. But when it comes to the investment that we're going to get this summer, we are not going to see Paul Pogba leave on a free transfer and us adequately replace him with a player of his quality. That would cost in the region of 60 to 80 million. And I don't even know who you'd have a conversation about with that. So therefore, what United will do is bring Donny van der Beek back in, especially if Erik Ten Hag. If Erik Ten Hag comes in, then the Van der Beek situation, you can basically ignore anything that's happened previously. It would be like a brand new signing. It really, really would. Avad saying, Sam, what did you think of Arteta after the Liverpool match? I wish we had a manager like that. He's going to be a top coach in the future. I think Arteta has done extremely well at Arsenal. Probably the greatest thing that he did was boot Aubameyang out of the club. That was the point where I was like, okay, I think Arteta's onto something here. Because to have the stones to do that to the club captain, yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest mistakes that Ralph Rangnick has made so far in staying so loyal to Harry Maguire. Now, Harry Maguire hasn't done anything disrespectful in the same way that Aubameyang has. But the reason that Aubameyang got booted out of the club is because he was disrespectful and he set a culture that if Arteta didn't do anything, then other people could get away with it. And I think that's what Rangnick has done and is doing with Maguire. By letting him get away with the substandard performances that he's doing, it kind of undermines the standards that he's asking other players to play towards. You've got to drop your captain if he's not performing like that. It's kind of part of the problem, I think. Anuj, Sam, if given a choice, would you bring in Rudiger to partner Varane next season? I mean, he'd be on a free, wouldn't he? I wouldn't. I think I'm fine with Lindelof and Varane. Maybe I'm a bit mad to say that, but I feel like I'm okay with Lindelof and Varane. I think the Manchester United's focus, until we've got a proper defensive midfielder and a proper number 9, I don't really want to have a conversation about any other signings that we could or should make this summer, sorry. That's just the way I feel. I feel like we should just be purely and utterly focused on those 2 signings first and foremost. And if we don't do that, and we start getting distracted by potential free signings in centre-back or a potential right-back option, I don't know. There's only so many signings you can make in one summer. And I think United have only got 3 in them this summer. 3 big signings. And I want those 3 to be 2 central midfielders, 1 powerhouse central midfielder, and 1 number 9. They're the 3 centre mids. They're the 3 signings that I want United to make. Could we do with a new centre-back? Of course we could. But that will very much revolve. I think that's probably 1 year down the line. And at that point, hopefully it'll be a replacement for Harry Maguire. That's what I think anyway. Rudiger would only partner Maguire, says Madhouse. Absolutely no chance of that happening. Barca closing in on Kessie for a free. If Manchester United wanted Frank Kessie, we would have agreed a deal, or at least looked and sniffed around him during the January transfer window. Gary, you're saying Lindelof's far too weak for me. He gets knocked off the ball by a stiff breeze. Lindelof, I think, is slightly underrated. Slightly underrated, I would say. Maguire is not overrated. Maguire, just everybody knows what Maguire's issues are. Phil Price down there in the comments, you're mentioning Akanji. Akanji from Dortmund is somebody that we have been linked with already. There's no doubt that we could definitely do with improving our defense. Our defense is the Achilles heel of this team, which is weird to say because we've got no midfield. But now our defense has shown itself to be the Achilles heel of this team, hasn't it? Absolutely. We don't seem to be interested in free transfers ever, says Jonathan Ross. Yeah, it's kind of Jonathan Rose, sorry. Yeah, you're probably right. It's something that Juventus have done so well. Juventus nailed up until the last 18 months where they started. It was basically when they signed Ronaldo was when their plan just kind of got snapped apart. Up until that point, they were so incredible at bringing. I think Aaron Ramsey, I remember going there. Obviously, Paul Pogba went there. Rabiot, I think, was another one. Patrice Evra, I believe, when he went there. They have so many signings over the last 5-6 years that Juventus have got for damn cheap because they've been attacking that market. And Nkunku will be hot this summer. Absolutely. You're definitely right. I'm going to be doing a video on Nkunku, the Leipzig striker, who really is lighting it up. And we need a centre forward, people. We need a centre forward. Yeah, and Barcelona, of course, now trying to attack the free transfer market because they're at $1 billion in debt. They are skint. Hey, look, I enjoyed doing that. As I said, I want to do one of these Q&As every single week for members only. All right. So if you'd like to be involved in stuff like this, please consider becoming a member of United People's TV. I'd love to have you on board. I appreciate all the comments, all the interaction today. I'm definitely going to be setting the YouTube comments to subscribers only from now on. It was far more manageable and far more of a conversation down there, which is what this is supposed to be. Because not many, it really is quite difficult to hold a conversation and speak to people whilst also reading comments out at the same time. And if bad comments come in, it takes away from your chain of thought. So that's why I'm happy that I set it as subscribers only, and I'll keep it like that. Now, go out and enjoy your weekend. If you're in England, enjoy the sunshine. Put a pair of shorts on. It may only be 13 degrees, but that's shorts weather, baby. That is shorts weather. I'm going to have a video hopefully out on Saturday and Sunday. It depends how hard I can work today. But I'm going to have a video out later on today, probably on the Glazers. I think that should be our focus point today. And in the next week or so, going to get some real special videos here on United People's TV. We're going to be getting the Erik Ten Hag coaching philosophy video. You know, the one I did for Ralph Radnick? Going to have one of those out for Ten Hag and for Poch. Okay? So big up to everybody who joined in this morning. Big up to everybody who commented, who got involved. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope you did too. Please consider dropping a like if you're new to United People's TV. And I won't see you tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll see you Sunday morning. Maybe not. But I'll definitely see you Monday morning. And have a cracking weekend, everyone. And if you need me, hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open.